Hello everyone, and welcome to Psychoanalysis, where childhood traumas meet box office dramas. Get ready to dive deep into the twisted minds of fictional villains, because sometimes dissecting their psychological scars is the best therapy that we never had as kids. Today, our subject of analysis is Micah Bell III from Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the most despicable and repulsive characters in not just video game history, but all of fiction in general. As slippery as a snake, Micah weasels his way into the mind of Dutch van der Linde, the leader of the van der Linde gang, constantly driving a wedge between him and his unofficially adopted son Arthur Morgan, as well as constantly plunging the gang's situation into further chaos. A central character in Red Dead Redemption 2, Micah's personality is incredibly complex, which makes him a divisive figure within the game's narrative. To truly grasp Micah's moral and psychological intricacies, we must explore his past and examine his actions. This in-depth analysis aims to shed light on the driving forces behind Micah's choices and the internal struggles that mold his character. Micah Bell's upbringing, while shrouded in mystery as the game gives us very little to go off of, surely played a pivotal role in shaping his personality. Born in the late 1860s, he faced a childhood entrenched in violence and hardship. His father, Micah Bell Jr., was an outlaw of some renown himself, a man with a mean reputation. This surely had an influence over Micah as he grew up intimately involved in his father's outlaw antics. The lack of stability in his early years likely contributed to his inclination towards self-preservation above all else. These formative experiences laid the groundwork for the moral ambiguity we observe in Micah throughout the game. As he entered adulthood, Micah Bell's path veered further into the life of a hardened criminal. Engaging in robberies, thefts, and skirmishes with law enforcement, he established himself as a notorious and dangerous outlaw. Following in the footsteps of his father, this criminal lifestyle earned him a reputation that resonated across the Wild West. Micah's criminal activities and frequent brushes with the law suggest a willingness to disregard societal norms and a propensity for violence. His unyielding defiance against authority figures hints at a deeply ingrained resentment towards society's constraints. Micah's life took an unforeseen turn when he crossed paths with the charismatic Dutch van der Linde and joined his infamous gang. Dutch recognized Micah's combat prowess and, to an extent, admired his unrestrained nature. Micah's association with the van der Linde gang became a double-edged sword, providing him with a sense of belonging and power, but also exacerbating his pre-existing moral conflicts. Micah Bell is extremely complex and morally ambiguous. Some would call him an agent of chaos. Throughout the game, Micah's actions and betrayals create a deeply polarizing and controversial figure, making players question his true intentions and allegiances. Micah is portrayed as a highly manipulative individual. He easily gains the trust of others, including the protagonist Arthur Morgan and Dutch. He uses his charm and cunning to exploit their weaknesses, creating a sense of camaraderie while concealing his true motives. Micah's primary motivation is self-preservation and personal gain. Unlike other members of the gang, who are driven by notions of loyalty and camaraderie, Micah only cares about his well-being and will go to great lengths to protect himself. This self-serving agenda often puts him at odds with the rest of the gang. One of the most unsettling aspects of Micah's character is his lack of empathy. He seems to derive pleasure from causing harm to others, whether it's through violent acts, betrayals, or manipulations. This lack of conscience makes him a dangerous and unpredictable presence within the gang. We see this displayed on multiple occasions, including when Micah unalives Jack's dog. Micah is responsible for multiple betrayals throughout the game. He frequently undermines the gang's plans, often working against their best interests. His actions ultimately lead to the deterioration of trust within the group and contribute to the gang's eventual downfall. Micah purposefully creates division within the gang. His manipulation of Dutch leads to a fracture between Dutch and Arthur, causing internal strife and conflict. Players may find themselves torn between the moral dilemmas posed by Micah's actions and the loyalty they feel towards the other gang members. Despite his reprehensible actions, Micah's character serves a purpose in the game's narrative. He embodies the antithesis of redemption, as players witness the stark contrast between the protagonist Arthur Morgan's journey towards redemption and Micah's descent into darkness and evil. Micah exhibits strong narcissistic traits, which drive his manipulative and self-serving behavior. His need for admiration and a sense of entitlement fuels his desire to gain power and control over others. This personality trait explains why he frequently betrays others, as he prioritizes his own interests above all else. Micah's lack of empathy, disregard for societal norms, and a pattern of deceit align with traits associated with antisocial personality disorder. This disorder is characterized by a disregard for the rights of others, a tendency to manipulate, and a history of irresponsible and impulsive behavior. Micah's actions, such as causing harm to innocent people and exploiting the gang, fit this pattern. It is implied that Micah had a troubled past, possibly involving childhood trauma or neglect. Such experiences can shape an individual's personality and behavior, leading to maladaptive coping mechanisms. Micah's manipulative and callous nature may have developed as a defense mechanism to protect himself from vulnerability and pain. Micah's need for validation is evident in his constant search for approval, particularly from Dutch. His desire to be the favorite and most trusted member of the gang drives him to outshine others and undermine their standing within the group. This need for validation might stem from feelings of inadequacy or a desire to compensate for past failures. Micah's fear of abandonment is likely a significant driving force behind his actions. He perceives the gang as a means of survival and security, and he will do whatever it takes to protect himself from being left behind or excluded. This fear may have originated from past experiences of abandonment or rejection. Despite his reprehensible actions, Micah may experience cognitive dissonance, a psychological discomfort resulting from holding contradictory beliefs or behaving inconsistently with one's values. He rationalizes his betrayals and violent acts to maintain a positive self-image, often blaming others or external circumstances for his behavior. The pursuit of power and control is a central driving force behind Micah's actions. As the gang's power struggles intensify, Micah sees an opportunity to elevate his status and dominate others. His craving for control over people and situations may be linked to his need to assert dominance and compensate for perceived weaknesses. All of these factors and aspects of Micah's life make up a character that we just can't help but hate. Every single time Micah is on the screen, the hair on the back of your neck stands up, and it is impossible for the gamer to relax in his presence. His cruelty is always spewing from his lips, evident in how he taunts Arthur, calling him Black Lung, and reminding him of his dwindling mortality every chance he gets. Rockstar truly achieved something special when conceiving this vile and selfish antagonist, creating one of the most memorable and hateable characters ever written. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Psychoanalysis. I hope you get something from it. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing to the channel. It makes a huge difference, and I can't wait to see where the channel goes. Take care, friends. Until we meet again.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the Psychoanalysis YouTube channel. And in the future, remember to hit the like button. Also in the past, everyone, have a great day.